Inform. Cooperate. Assemble.
So, happy 25th anniversary to Half-Life. This is one of my favorite series ever, and it's crazy to believe that the first game came out 25 years ago. And I thought it would be fun to talk about the often forgotten ports of Half-Life on consoles. And I'd like to explain why these have been my go-to ways to play through Half-Life for my latest playthroughs. So, I'm a big dumb Valve fan. I've played almost all of their games ever since the Orange Box and went back and played all the Half-Life expansions and spin-offs and stuff like that from before then. I've played basically every Valve game, and that of course means I'm a big fan of the Half-Life series. And I also collect a bit of retro games, so I always knew about the versions of Half-Life that came out on consoles. They're not incredibly rare or anything, but they're novelties for a fan like me. The first game came out on PS2, second game came out on the original Xbox, and the Orange Box collection came out on PS3 and 360. So you might be asking, why even bother with Half-Life on console? They have worse performance, worse controls, and no multiplayer. There's basically nothing worth mentioning about these console versions as opposed to their PC counterpart. Besides a bit of trivia, there's not even really a reason to think about these console ports. But here's the thing, I've played these games dozens of times on PC already, and once you go through some of your favorite games so many times, you just want to find a way to experience them in a new and different way. Whether that's mods, doing all the achievements, having a challenge run, that sort of thing. And I've got to say that if you're a fan of Half-Life and just want another way to play the game, go play Half-Life 2 Update on Steam. But if you're a psycho like me and just want to play these games over and over and over and mess around in silly little ports of Half-Life, check out these console versions.
Oh my god. These poor people.
Half-Life on PS2 is a really fun alternative and is probably the most unique of these ports, with unique character models and health charge models and some new features as well, like the co-op expansion Decay. But something I don't see mentioned a lot about Half-Life on PS2 are the unique controls. The controls are really different. They're not quite a modern solution like aim assist, but they're also not super archaic like tank controls. Half-Life on PS2 opted for a targeting system sort of like Metroid Prime, which completely changed how I played the game.
Gordon, we have complete confidence in you.
You end up just kind of locking onto everything, and it makes small enemies like headcrabs really easy to take care of. And the unique control scheme kind of makes Half-Life on PS2 its own special sort of thing, making it, in my opinion, the only console Half-Life game that fans should at least give a try. If you have the means, give it a shot. Next up is Half-Life 2 on the original Xbox, which is a very interesting version. It's the vanilla Half-Life 2, so it's based on the original 2004 version. Unlike all the modern versions which have updated Vortigaunt textures and small changes from the Orange Box. Half-Life 2 on Xbox released 1 year after the original, but 2 years before Orange Box and the next-gen systems, making it sort of like a late-gen Xbox game. And because of this, the technical side of Half-Life 2 on Xbox is really impressive, and really puts a lot of other Xbox games to shame. If you compare how far the Xbox came from Halo 1 to Half-Life 2, it's pretty unbelievable.
You mean it's working? For real this time? Because I still have nightmares about that cat.
Half-Life 2 on Xbox is more of a technical wonder than any sort of special experience. While the game runs pretty rough, I think it's cool to imagine some gamers back in 2005 being able to play this game on their crummy little Xbox. The game, surprisingly enough, I think is actually quite playable. It's 30 FPS, then the whole original campaign is there. I don't believe there's any cuts to the content. The game runs pretty smooth, but it is pretty funny when explosions and physics happen and it tanks the frame rate.
And so, whether you are here to stay or passing through on your way to parts unknown, welcome to City 17. It's safer here.
Last up for console ports, it's the 2 Orange Boxes. Make it 3. So on the 360, the Orange Box was handled by Valve themselves, but on the PS3, I believe EA UK had a hand on it. The PS3 was openly mocked and ridiculed by Gabe Newell, and Valve just had nothing to do with the PS3 port. Valve even supported the 360 version a little longer than the PS3 one, with small updates to things like TF2. The PS3 was just not as well understood and documented back in 2007, and so the orange box doesn't run as nicely as it should. On PS3, there are a few frame rate issues, specifically in Episode 2, but as far as I can tell, the Xbox 360 version runs much better. But for the most part, the game works just fine on both systems. Having recently played through Half-Life 2 on my Series X through backwards compatibility, my experience was perfectly fine. The only major graphical bug I noticed is that Alex's back texture would glitch out a little bit. But other than that, the game is entirely playable.
Hey, it's Freeman! You're not leaving without me!
The aim assist system in Orange Box on console is a little different than you might expect. It's sort of like a big fat reticle that just auto-targets anything that comes within its range. Instead of like a proper aim assist that helps you drag your controller over enemies, instead it opts for just a simple system like that. If you have a Series X and you're looking to just play the Half-Life 2 series, I think buying a used copy of the Orange Box for like $10-15 is pretty worth it, especially if you haven't played the Half-Life 2 games or Portal. The Half-Life 2 games have some of the best world building I've ever seen in a game, and I really think that if you haven't played them, you should definitely check them out, on Xbox or not. And if you can find a cheap copy of the 360 version, it's just another way to play Half-Life 2. And you get the advantage of being on a couch.
What are you still doing here? Everyone should clear out of the city.
The Combine's not making it easy.
So if you're a big fan of Half-Life, let me know if you've dabbled with these console versions at all. I think they're a fun diversion for people like me that have run through these games dozens of times. And if you made it this far, subscribe and let me know below if you'd like to see more Half-Life reviews and that sort of thing. I'd love to do a deep dive on the world of Half-Life or something like that.